the Downtown Indy's 55th Annual Circle of Lights presented by IBEW Local 481. Today's media briefing is to update everyone. We've assembled our public safety leaders who will share event updates to better address crowd control, security, and enhancements to the spectator experience. And the biggest change will be the placement of the performance stage on the Soldiers and Sailors Monument. So we'll provide a map and give you a little bit more detail on that. Next Friday is it's a big evening for downtown Indianapolis. We've got the Black Friday shoppers. We've got the IHSAA State Football Championship in Lucas Oil Stadium. We have the home Pacer game. And we will have over 100,000 expected people downtown for the Circle of Lights. And so we're very excited about this event, but we definitely want to make sure that everyone stays safe. We certainly couldn't do that without our partners, including the outstanding support from our public safety officials and, of course, our presenting sponsor, IBEW 481. So I'm going to ask Steve Mitzer to come up and take it from here.
Hi, everybody. Thanks for coming out this morning. So the IBEW's involvement, what has made this such a tradition? So for 55 years, since 1962, and I couldn't tell you the exact history, but I know that the mayor at that time got together with some other city officials and talked about what can we do to draw more individuals downtown and do something with the monument to make it a focal point of the holiday season. And my predecessors back in the day, they came up with the idea for the Circle of Lights, and at that time, I believe we called it the world's largest Christmas tree. And people from around the country kind of made fun of us, saying, well, it's not really a Christmas tree, it's a monument. But anyway, we've been doing this for a long, long time, and it's just our gift to the community, and it makes our members really, really proud to be a part of this every year. So this past Saturday, we had about 200 members on the circle that assisted in putting up the lights. And there's probably been at least 3 generations of our electricians, their kids, grandpas, that have been passing this along. And it's just a great sense of pride. They can bring their families down the night of the lighting and say, I did that. And so that's really part of what we do. I mean, we do a lot of volunteer activities as the Electrical Workers Union here in Indianapolis, but this is our centerpiece. This is our major event every year, and we're just really happy to be a part of it. This year, we're really excited, being our 55th year, that we are kind of turning the monument green. And by that I mean green energy with the new LED lights. And if some of you were down this past Saturday, we kind of lit them up as we put them up, as we're checking them out, and I believe the color is just going to be outstanding. I think you'll see a huge difference from years past, converting from incandescent to LEDs. And the great thing about the LEDs, not only will they last much longer, but the energy consumption is about 1/10 of that from the old incandescent lamps. So our electric bill should be about 1/10 of what it used to be. And that's very exciting as well. So I don't know. I will pass it off to Bob Schultz. And real quick too, I know we have a lot of changes coming up, and I want to thank the chief and his staff for being here today to make sure that this holiday season and the festivities on the 24th are going to be safe for all families to enjoy. So thank you to our public safety officials.
Good morning. My name is Bob Schultz, and I'm the Senior Vice President of Events for Downtown Indy, Inc., and we wanted to thank the Columbia Club for hosting us this morning. Out here soon, within a few days, 100,000 people will make their annual visit to the monument for the lighting of the Circle of Lights. There have been some significant changes that we wanted to communicate with the media, primarily so you could share this with the public, because this is an event steeped in tradition. As Steve said, 55 years that the lights have gone up. More recently, in the last 20 years, the event that we now call Circle of Lights has gathered individuals, families, proposals, family reunions, all of these things happen out here on the Friday after Thanksgiving. And each year, after this event is over, we have a commitment to sit down with our public safety professionals and evaluate the flow, evaluate the energy, evaluate the fan experience, the customer or the spectator experience, and do all of that with safety as our #1 goal. And so as we share some of these changes, they're based on the fact that a lot of people do the same thing year after year. We're going to meet on this corner, and we're going to watch Circle of Lights, and then we're going to go out for dinner. And so we hear about these stories. So I'm going to share just a couple of the significant changes, and to the members of the media, we've shared this as a PDF as well. I think because of the malt box, I need to speak in the mic, so I'm going to bring. Do you mind holding that right here? So this is our event footprint, and thanks, Sherry. And then the chiefs will talk a little bit about from their perspective. I want to point out that traditionally, and just to orient you, this is Pennsylvania, Ohio, Illinois is over here, and South Meridian goes down to Washington Street there at the bottom of the map. The circle in the middle is obviously Monument Circle, and traditionally our stage has been on the south steps of the monument facing south, and individuals come in from all 4 spokes to enjoy the experience. We found that the most underutilized space in this event footprint was the north end of the monument and the North Meridian spoke, as more and more fans are coming from Lucas Oil Stadium or going back and forth, Circle Center, the restaurants, the entertainment district, and certainly Bankers Life Fieldhouse. So in consultation with the police and fire professionals that we work with on all of our events, we have decided, and we're moving the stage to the north spoke of Monument Circle, facing the circle. So the steps of the monument will now be filled with spectators as opposed to the stage. This is significant because the allowance onto the event footprint will only happen from East Market, West Market, and South Meridian, as it becomes a pedestrian-only event starting in the late afternoon. So as you can see here, the performance stage facing the monument as opposed to the south steps of the monument. But what we have also added for spectator experience are large viewing plazas. And so some people get here a little bit later, or they don't want to be compressed with the entertainment of the crowd closer to the stage. You can view the experiences that are happening on the stage from these East, West, and South Meridian viewing plazas that are made possible by several of our sponsors. Steve already mentioned their support to this event. This is, and I think it's very important to share, is this is a 100% funded event by private dollars. This city supports it by public safety, but this event is totally put on by private dollars, and we thank the IBEW and many of our sponsors, including Salesforce, for participating in that. These viewing plazas will be supported by them as well. So as you enter this event footprint, the event goes from 6 p.m. until 8 p.m. when the lighting happens. There will be fireworks in the air. We also want the public to be aware that you don't normally expect to have fireworks at 8 o'clock on a Friday night, the night after Thanksgiving, and you're downtown. But this is Indianapolis, and we celebrate the lighting, so be prepared for the sound and the energy of pyrotechnics at approximately 8 p.m. on Friday, November 24th. Additionally, I also want to point out, because we're expecting such large crowds, and every time this event goes, it feels like it gets bigger, we call this a clean zone. We work with the city of Indianapolis, public safety professionals, by identifying what is allowed onto the event footprint and what isn't. Over the years, people start bringing chairs and pop-up tents. Those aren't allowed. We're not going to be able to accommodate those this year with the crowds growing. So please, we have a list of some prohibited items that do include pop-up tents and coolers, chairs, firearms and weapons, bicycles, and then animals, unless it's a service animal, of course. So those are elements that we are adding to, again, to increase the spectator experience and to allow the flow. The chiefs will talk a little bit about movement of individuals and placement of individuals, but primarily, the stage, folks will be facing south. People will be up here on the monument. What's south of Monument Circle will be a little bit more free-flowing, Radio Row. It's more of a festival feel as opposed to a stay in place and watch the show area. But as soon as those areas get compressed, you'll see some reaction and response by our public safety professionals to maintain that sense of order. So we'll stop here. I think that gives a quick overview of what our event footprint will look like. I do want to call on Chief Roach, who will speak a little bit about some of the public safety readiness that exists here. Chief?
Thank you. Thank you, Bob. So good morning. It's nice to be here talking about something festive rather than most of the things that I talk about, so I appreciate that opportunity. We as an agency pride ourselves in being able to provide safe venues for all the many activities that occur, not just in Indianapolis, but specifically downtown. There's so many events, hundreds and hundreds a year, and I know the fire department feels the same way. But the only way we're able to do that is through our relationships that we've built over the years with sponsors like IBEW and Downtown Inc., and having that same mindset of safety. And so as we saw this event grow and grow and grow, had some safety concerns. As an agency, we're always looking at how to, and I think you want us to always look at how do we improve? How can we make sure that the venue is the safest possible? So we're always thinking about those things. And we're also looking at things that have happened throughout the nation and what can we glean from that and apply here to the city of Indianapolis. So we're especially grateful for moving the event to the north side of the spoke and having it face southward. What we saw over the last few years is that condensed traffic of people made it harder for public safety responses for both ingress and egress. There were a couple incidents last year where the crowd was so tight it was just hard to get to some place where we needed to be. And so we had those. Luckily, we have good partners and we can have those crucial conversations around that, and everybody understood that. So we're pleased for the move. The other thing that we've done is, and we've done it for probably the last year and a half, 2 years, is we've hardened some of the, done closures at some of the spokes and have hardened that. And what I mean by that, as you look throughout the nation and other parts of the world, motor vehicles have been used in events like this to cause all kinds of tragedy. So you'll see Indigo buses at the 3 spokes. The 4th spoke here on Meridian Street will be blocked by the stage itself. We have added, because of the size, we have added extra personnel. Most of those assets you will not see, but there will, I promise you they are here. You'll also see more officers and engaging people a little more. We want this to be as friendly as possible. Our officers actually enjoy this event. They enjoy most events, but not all events. But so they'll be here, smiles on their faces, giving direction. So we're appreciative to be a part of this. We have increased our presence, and I think you'll see that. And I hope everyone understands that those things have been done in order for all of us to enjoy this much more than we ever have. And at the same time, we do not have any additional intelligence, any credible threats on this event, and we continue to monitor that. So none of these changes have occurred because there's a specific threat. They've occurred because it's the right thing to do. So thanks for letting us be a part of that.
Well, good morning. Thank you for allowing us to be here. Chief Roach hit a lot of our points, but one thing that I want to reemphasize is how we enjoy working with our partners in the community, and this just doesn't happen everywhere. We take a lot of pride in the way Indianapolis is capable of putting on large events like this. You have in many cities where the police department won't talk to the fire department, won't talk to the sheriff's department, won't talk to EMS, and that just doesn't happen in our city. We cultivate and enjoy those relationships year-round, and I'm very proud of that and the way we can make sure people can come down to events like this and have a great time. As far as the fire department's concerned, We'll have several apparatus, each with 4 firefighters on them, strategically placed to make sure we can keep people safe. We'll have deputy fire marshals and firefighters on foot, primarily looking at crowd control. If we find an area is getting saturated or at capacity, we will restrict movement in and only let people out of that. Again, we want people to come down, have a good time, and certainly not get injured at what's to be a festive occasion. We'll have people in elevated position and on foot patrol at ground level, as I said. We'll have folks monitoring when it's time for the all-important fireworks. We'll make sure that those go off safely. So we're here. We'll have a joint unified command in the command post. There'll be people there that can get ahead of issues and certainly be equipped to react to an issue when it does occur, when and if it does occur, so people can come down, have a great time, and get our holidays off to a good start. So thank you again for the opportunity to participate. We appreciate it.
Thank you, Chief. There are 3 statements that we often say to these types of events. If you see something, say something. So that stands without reason. Know before you go, so have an idea where you want to park, where you've left your car, and that surprisingly is not unusual. We find people, where did I park? So we want to remind people of that. And then also, we want to encourage people to arrive early and stay late. The event starts at 6 p.m., goes to 8 p.m., but downtown is alive and well all day and all evening, so we encourage people to arrive early. We're thrilled about the entertainment lineup. We'll be sharing more and more with that, but this year, not only do we have the great entertainment pizzazz of Sandy Patty and her family with ISO's The Yuletide, presented by IPL, we also have IRT and the entire cast of the Christmas Carol. We have from Broadway across America, we have Ralphie, who stars as the Christmas Story, the musical, and we're also having a performance by Dance Kaleidoscope, in addition to the homegrown talent that always makes its way to the stage through the audition process out in the public. This is going to be a great event. We're thrilled to celebrate it. Steve, again, with IBEW, we couldn't do it without your kind support, both volunteer and financial, and then obviously the public safety support. These individuals be available for one-on-ones with the media after this, so if you have some specific questions you'd like to ask them, feel free to do so. Thank you to the other men and women of our public safety community that we seem like we meet all the time. We see each other quite a bit. In fact, I think we're going to see each other this afternoon again, so thank you for the men and women of our public safety community, and thank you to Courtney and her team with Downtown Indy, Inc. All right, we'll conclude now, and if you have any specific questions, feel free to come forward. Thank you, everybody.